This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Roll. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, the ongoing controversy between the Grand Bahama Port Authority Workers Union and the management of the Grand Bahama Shipyard now getting national attention. Yesterday, union leaders led a protest at the facility, charging management of terminating Bahamian workers unfairly and showing lack of respect for labor laws and the government. Tonight, the conflict has taken a new twist. President of the Grand Bahama Port Authority Workers Union, Mervyn Wright, says he is pleased with the overwhelming response he has received since ZNS News aired the story of a possible industrial action looming at the Grand Bahama Shipyard. On Wednesday, employees gathered in a silent protest outside the gates of the Shipcare facility to share their disapproval with CEO Steve Jervis, who they claim has unfairly terminated workers, has no regard for the union, employees, or the government.
I can tell you today, reaction to that newscast last night was immediate. I've already spoken this morning with Minister Mitchell, Department of Immigration. I've spoken to Minister Gibson, Department of Labor, and I had subsequent calls from that department in Nassau indicating that they have 2 inspectors proceeding to Freeport tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. to investigate matters at the Grand Bahama Shipyard.
Wright contends that in his 12 years as president, he has never encountered a CEO unwilling to work with the union for the betterment of employees.
With Steve Jervis, there's no getting to him. I've tried everything. There's no getting to him. He speaks to you in a condescending manner, and I'm talking about he looks you in the face and nothing matters to him. Government, immigration, labor, agreements, nothing matters to Steve.
The president says he has received some news about a top official resigning sometime today.
I haven't yet verified it, but I got it from very, very good sources. Mr. Ross has since resigned. He's determined that he no longer wants to be around here. That's not necessarily bad news.
He, along with his vice president, Dave Barr, say enough is enough, and now it is time for the CEO to go.
I don't even see why he wants to be here with that attitude. He's very arrogant. We sought to deal with this with him very amicably and behind closed doors. This was when this thing came out. We were amazed at the disrespect and the arrogance of this gentleman. In fact, we are at this point now as a result of him telling us, go to your government.
Grand Bahama Shipyard is a beautiful company, good company, decent company, a lot of hard-working, industrious individuals. The only thing I want, the only thing the people of the Grand Bahama Shipyard wants, and it's my understanding now that this has gotten out, a lot of top-ranked people in that yard and elsewhere pertaining to the board of directors of these companies now concerned about him. I think it'll be in the best interest of Grand Bahama, in the best interest of the shipyard, in the best interest of the country, that Steve Jervis go to wherever it is he came from.
In other news, an investigation is currently underway into the death of an electrician in Bahama Reef Boulevard yesterday. The man employed with a local private contractor was in a bucket truck attempting to make repairs to a street light when he reportedly came into contact with a live wire. We spoke with the Superintendent of Police, Mactavis Daniels, shortly after the apparent electrocution.
The officers met a male being attended to by EMS personnel with suffering from some injuries about the body. That male was later transported to the Rand Memorial Hospital, where he was later pronounced dead by the doctors here. At this time, our investigation, we're in the early stage of our investigation, and as more information become available, we would advise you.
Now, reports say the victim has been identified as well-known electrician and football coach Big Tim Williams. Investigations are ongoing. Switching gears now, the Grand Bahama business community now has a new leader. The decision was made during a special luncheon meeting yesterday. Sabrina Brown has details.
Members of the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce gathered at the Pelican Bay Resort for the annual general meeting and election of officers. Financial consultant Mick Holding was elected president unopposed. He vowed to build on the foundation laid by the outgoing executive board.
We will continue to work with and liaise with the Ministry for Grand Bahama, the Grand Bahama Port Authority, and other government agencies such as Customs, Immigration, and the Ministry of Finance to help to promote the interests of the business community on Grand Bahama.
Holding cited a number of issues he believes will be an ongoing challenge for the new board.
We introduced VAT at the beginning of 2015. There were numerous new pieces of legislation that were introduced during that period. And also, of course, we had the expiry of the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement, or certain tax concessions within the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement in August 2015, which culminated in the MOU signed with the GBPA, and finally the introduction of the Investment Incentives Act earlier this year. I don't think we've heard the last of all of that.
As Grand Bahama continues to recover from Hurricane Matthew, the new president said the chamber will do its part to help the island return to normalcy.
I think people are much more optimistic of the future. It was a devastating hurricane, but we're recovering from it. We're recovering from it fast. But I think people's attitude is strong, and we will build on that. I guarantee to you that the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce will play its part in building Grand Bahama back to where it should be.
The first vice president is manager at Bradford Marine Dan Romance. Second vice president is insurance executive Arnold Palmer. Secretary is Karen Sanchez, and treasurer Ralph Hepburn. Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, Sabrina. Well, outgoing president of the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce, Kevin Seymour, served for 2 consecutive terms. He says following the recent storm which devastated the island, the chamber joined forces with the government and other leading agencies in a major initiative to help Grand Bahama's economy to rebound as quickly as possible.
These programs include the elimination of duty and VAT for a specific period on building materials under the exigency order, a voucher and pre-funding program underwritten by the government which enables eligible hurricane victims to acquire building materials from participating local suppliers, whilst at the same time allowing these same participating local suppliers to increase their stock levels to meet the surging demand. Folks, in case you missed it, this translates into a major shop-at-home campaign.
Now, Seymour was also a member of the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement Review Committee, which he believes was a significant achievement for the chamber and the business community. However, he says there is much more work to be done.
The committee's work is currently incomplete and continues in earnest despite the gut punch and setback delivered to Grand Bahama's economy by Hurricane Matthew several weeks ago. A word of advice to my successor. Now that we're in the room and around the table, I strongly suggest that you seek to further strengthen the Chamber's relationship with these key stakeholders.
In other news, cellular phone customers now have an option in the Bahamian market. NewCo 2015 Limited was awarded a license in July and launched its services to the public on November 23rd. Tonight, officials say customers can be assured of cutting-edge technology. Natalia Hall has the details.
NewCo, the country's newest telecommunications provider, has been rebranded as Alive. The company has launched an LTE network, built 22 cell towers across Grand Bahama, in addition to the 59 towers in New Providence. Chief Alive champion Johnny Ingle says that their new call center on Grand Bahama is fully staffed with Bahamians, offering a unique service to customers.
We didn't just make something and try and sell it. We did months of research, and it came back very clearly that Bahamians wanted and needed better call quality, an LTE network superior customer service, devices, and not just any device, but smartphones.
Director of Customer Service Alison Lavardi says their engineering, product, sales, and support departments have been working hard to deliver what customers expect.
The live redundancy core system is also on the island. This technology ensures that there is no single point of failure for our systems. While we have met the requirements mandated by our regulator, IRCA, we will continue to build our network in Grand Bahama and look to conclude our efforts here in 2017.
Engel says there will be 2 plans, a 7-day plan and a 30-day plan, which will include unlimited calling to anywhere in the Bahamas, the U.S., and Canada.
We have only smartphones, LTE-capable devices, for an LTE network that we own and have built ourselves. And not just one LTE network, but 2 LTE networks, to ensure that the service Grand Bahamians receive is nothing less than they deserve and nothing less than they expect. Anyone who visits our stores and purchases an LTE smartphone from Alive will automatically receive 1 month's free service.
The plans will also include unlimited text messaging and data usage with no charge for incoming calls or texts.
We love WhatsApp. It is our preferred method of communication within the Alive network. And already our consumers in their thousands are using WhatsApp the same way the Alive team are using WhatsApp. And we're having a wonderful experience. Unlimited app downloads and an experience on data that you choose when you want. There are no contracts on the Alive network. It's 2016, not 1816.
Alive's new retail store located in Seahorse Plaza opened on Thursday morning. There will also be a free Alive concert at Pirates Cove on Saturday afternoon. Italia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Members from the Inter-American Development Bank on Grand Bahama. The IDB is a multilateral bank that supports 26 member countries, including the Bahamas, Latin America, and the Caribbean, in various economic development sectors. The purpose of the trip to Grand Bahama was to explore the possibility of a new program to support the government of the Bahamas and to protect their shoreline. Team leader Michelle LeMay says there are 4 priority sites that they are looking at in the Bahamas: East Grand Bahama, Long Island, Andros, and Nassau.
The idea behind the program is to enhance resilience to coastal hazards, including coastal erosion, coastal flooding, which are expected to increase with the likelihood of increasing hurricanes associated with climate change. In East Grand Bahama, through previous studies, we've identified some priority sites which are particularly vulnerable to either flooding or coastal erosion. The program itself is going to support a more science-based approach to finding solutions to these issues. And the program itself is scheduled for approval in March of next year.
There's more news right after this.